My wonderful student, Jerry, 11-year-old, right?
Yeah,
This year.
yes.
And what grade you are in school?
5th grade.
Fifth grader. So this is school reading program about what? Science or is about reading comprehension? What's the topic?
Parrots over Puerto Rico.
Right, Puerto Rico. Puerto Rico have parrots, and then my wonderful students are going to educate us about parrots in Puerto Rico. Go ahead.
So according to the explanations, explain its solution, they may also have present ideas and sequential, and they also have chronological, kind of according to the timeline that is the sequential and chronological narrative that's talking about, that is the story about the parrot over Puerto Rico. And think about like a title that genre is off the text. That what do you know about animals? It's about habitats. What do you want to learn? Write your ideas below. Like you can write any animal beside that, but that can learn with you in it. That can teach you the stuff inside the learning when you know about animal. Mm-hmm. And then that is a genre that is an animal habitat that can eat food or animal can drink water, any kind of types of animal or meat or like organelle kind of meat or water can drink. I wanted to learn about animal that I can know about parrots can also like drink water and eat food, but you if you want to have a parrot as a pet, you better get a snacks, food, and water to prepare for a pet if you want to have a parrot as a pet. The flight meaning is to fly. A toil is a hard work. Is that a hard work is to learn every time when you work something in it, but like you can still have hard work that you can learn to teach anybody in the hard work when you toil in this kind of stuff. A flight is to fly. Pretend you're gonna fly an airplane, but you can use this kind of jet ski or a flying airplane, that a paper jet that can do flying shoot in the air, but it can still do up in the air and down in the air, but it can also go left and right. Is that you can also merchant is a business work that you have to do your business inside your job. If you don't have businesses, you want to be able to make money in it. Is that business is to like help you to make you get smarter and smarter and learn new stuffs, and that it can help you to work out more, that can learn you, and they can have business work. Is that they will invite you into your job until they can allow you to do a test in your job. That if you can do a very great job, then they will let you do in the job in it. And a jabbing is like something in sharp point. It's like a sharp claws or a pointed hand that can point you anywhere, but claws can like claw you, but you must be very careful. Animals have sharp claws because they can warp people, they can kill as much animal, they can kill anybody, but you might have in the zoo before, like are sharp claws, they can do attack you, but if you don't, it's to like you need to do the sharp ways, like they can scratch door, but sharp is to like is to crowd or kill animal. Like they can scratch the animal by taking out their meat like this, and they scratch their animals, and then they will get the meat out of like take the meat out of the animals, and that they don't know is realizing animal meat is that like they can know. Animals do run very fast when they have sharp claws. They never can. You can't run over them. You cannot run fast as an animal because they're so strong, so better. You can't ever run them. They're too fast. They're so strong. They're so crazy. They're creepy, and now they can't eat as much food they can, and they need digest very well. As a video, it shows like and like Jada and Mikey just has a very creepy animal, but they just exactly have the animal they can have that they need to feed for their animal meat. Is like they need to eat kind of stuff. And then a fourth, a military castle. It's like castle that has in the military. It's the kind of like a military has a castle, but like they have military, many people in the military castle that can protect anybody, whoever comes in the military castle. If you want to have a job in the military castle, they need to invite you, and then you have to practice your kind of skills and shots that you can get into the military job, be as an army. If you doesn't know anything, you can't do it as an army. They will just kick you out because they don't know you're not very well as an army. To be a prisoner by the enemy. As a prisoner in the enemy, they're so strong. They can rape people, they can kill people. As you can see, better not to get close to them. They're very bad. They rob banks and they need to go prisoners. That they need to go prison for like doing some prison stuff, like breaking laws. They break the laws in the Constitution.
The law. Yes, you are right.
In the Constitution wars, many people break laws, but they don't exactly know that they deserve that and kill many people they can do. And the judges, they use hammers, they can knock you down, that they can finish you off like that. And aggressive, ready or likely to be attacked. Like you need to get ready for attack because like you don't want to have anyone to attack you, so be very ready for that.
Wonderful.
If you don't be ready for attack, they might attack you at all. They might know still you because they still know that you're still attacking this person. Wonderful. They show you that they can be very attackable. If you attack at night and attack in morning, but they know where your treasure and food are. They want many people steal your treasure of food. If you don't protect your treasure of food, they will steal it. Like they used to have guns like this, and then they can't exactly know that if you don't have them, like they might kill you. Like Parrots over Puerto Rico. Above the treetops, they were like flies, flocks of parrots that are around the trees that they can know about. Like they are just many of them. And above the treetops, Puerto Rico flies a flock of parrots as the green as they. There are a lot of trees and the parrots and the treetops, and that you can see there are many of them in the tree. But they're very sensitive. They know where you are. They can bite as many people you can know about. That then they know like they can be very sensitive. They know as many people, if they have blood, they can drink your blood. They can bite you. Is that above the treetops of Puerto Rico flies a flock of parrots as green as their island home. If you look up from the forest and you are very lucky, you might catch the bright blue flashes of their flight feathers and hear their harsh call.
Beautiful.
These are Puerto Rican parrots. They lived on this island for millions of years, and then they nearly vanished from the earth forever. This is the story. A fly is the attack of flying through the air, but they know they are attacking you in the air.
Beautiful.
It's a fly attack, but they have very feathers and trees here that they know they live in the island millions of times in the air. Long before people come to Puerto Rico, hundreds of thousands of parrots flew over the island and the smaller island nearby, Aguaca and Hawakaca. The parrots call as they love for deep nesting holes in the tall trees down below, waves from the Caribbean Sea and the Atlantic Ocean wash the island's white sand beaches, delicate orchids, and wide-spreading ferns, tiny tree frogs, kapok, peas bursting with sea pods, and big alien eyeglasses cover the land. Many parrots are the kind of radical. They they can hide and kill fishes that they can eat fish as much as they can. In the tree land, there are like carbon sea. Sea creatures are in the water. They do eat Puerto Rico. They eat fishes and they can eat as much they can. Like they can drink at the finish the Puerto Rico inside they use the beach to get the fishes inside it. And that the Atlantic, they have spreading as fern as feathers as they can, and the ferns around here that they know about. Islands of white sand beaches, they have showing white sand beaches. Yellow ones cover the land, but they have the sea pots in the like there's a lot of water. A capital called tree bursting with sea pot, but there are a lot of sea pots in the forest of trees, and that they are like frogs, capital trees, and the bursting of the sea pot, delicate orchids, and widespreading fern. They spread fern as much as they can, in the forest of the fern when you see it.
Wonderful. Face the audience and smile.
I'm gonna finish. Agoika, the parrots called as they flew to several palm trees to eat their dark biter fruit. Around 5000 BC, people came to the island in canoes from land to the south. These people planted corn, yucca, sweet potato, peanuts, and pineapples. When they looked up, they saw the bright blue flashes of light feathers. More groups of people came. The Taínos arrived around 800 CE. They hunted the parrots for food and kept them as pets. Tanos gave the 800 parrots a name, Agoka, after their harsh call. They gave the island a name to Borkan and Borakan. And many people have their hay house and they don't have any house before, and they can only live in a hay house with their food, hunting for animals. They can hunt for parrots, like Puerto Rico. They can hunt for fishes. They can eat anything in the forest. They don't have any houses. They have flashes of fly trees and feathers that they can fly every feathers and that they need to fly for. And that there are many Puerto Rico parrots that are so many feathers are falling down into the Rico forest into the island of Morocco, that the many people who lived in the hay house feather will fall on their head and head shock will like exactly feel them off, and they don't know what are they talking about.
Wonderful.
Agoka, the parrots call hurricane winds blew down the old trees where they had their nests. After the hurricane passed, the parrots they flew through the treetops to find new nesting holes.
Wow.
Christopher Columbus sailed from Europe to Borca in 1493 and claimed the island for Spain. Soon Spanish settlers were planting crops on the island and building houses and schools with wood bricks and stone. Each time hurricanes destroyed their homes and schools, the settlers rebuilt them. The Spaniards called the parrots carteros,
Puerto Rico.
and they gave the island a new home. Puerto Rico, rich port. Sailing ship people can only have sailing Wrigley River. They don't have water and they can only splash. And the Christopher Columbus sailed from Europe. He only sailed it from the ship to Europe. And then the parrots called the hurricane, that a bunch of hurricanes blew down old trees, blew every tree down. They had their nest. They only have their own nests. After the hurricanes passed, the parrots flew through the treetops to find new nesting holes. They find new nesting holes because they don't have a nest earlier. The parrots has to have a nest, but they don't have a nesting holes at all. of the times. Is
What?
that the parrot they cannot do anything, so they can only find as much holes they can find in the parrot hole. Yeah.
Wonderful.
In the treetop, the parrots search for mates. The new pairs of parrots sat on branches, bowing, calling back and forth to each other and fluffing their wings and tails. Each pair raised one family of chickens every year. Now, people from many other parts of the world came to live in Puerto Rico. In 1513, Africans were brought to the island to toil as slaves under the hot sun and fields of sugarcane crop. More people came from Spain too, and they married animals and African. They all call themselves burricos. People are American, but they were still ruled by Spain. Many people have to go to America. They have ruled by Spain because that many people need to live in there to have a great house troop. And that they need pairs of pairs. They sat on branches and blowing, calling back and forth, and they have pairs of fluffing their wings and tails. And each pair raised one family chicks every year. They have raised a chick every year when they can do it. As they under the hot sun, fields of sugarcane and other crops to only have their only a brought the island, but hot sun field have a sugarcane other crops in it. They still have sugarcane still in it. They have toil. It is to work that they still need to work in this island because that's Spain too, and they married tenants and Africa that themselves in the Barcos. Eagle call. The pairs call when red-tailed hawks chase them in the tree tops. The pairs flock together to protect themselves from the hawks for centuries. People from other countries in Europe tried to capture Puerto Rico. These countries wanted to control the deep harbor at San Juan, the capital city where merchant ships and warships could be launched. The Parrots protected their island starting in 1539. They built a fort that grew and grew until its walls there were 18 feet, 5.5 meters thick. For hundreds of years, no country was able to take Puerto Rico away from Spain. The pairs have been red-tailed hawks chase him in the treetops. That they still have to chase them in the treetops, but the country want to control the deep harbor at San Juan, the capital of cities. That they had to steal capital. That the treetops flock together to protect themselves from the hawk for centuries. That many people is for centuries into the hawks of it. That the protect the island. The Parrots still protect the island, and starting in 1539, the fort is a large building usually protected by guards and a wall. The fort protects largest usually protected by guards and walls that no one can knew it, and that they grew and grew until its wall were 18 feet, 5 meters thick for hundreds of years. No country was able to take Puerto Rico away from Spain. No one can take the Rico away from Spain. That the guards are still away from the water. They are still away from Spain.
Wow.
I'm not finished yet. I'm still not finished. No more.
Yeah, keep on going. Keep on going.
I go call the parents called when they found that their nesting holes had been invaded by creatures brought to the island by settlers. Black rats from the settler ship climbed the tall trees and ate the parrots' egg. Honeybees that had escaped from hive swarmed into the parrot's nest. In 1898, the United States declared war on Spain. The war was really about Cuba, another of Spain's colonies, but the fighting spilled over into Puerto Rico. Thousands of American soldiers landed on the island and began battling Spanish troops. Spain lost the war and lost control of Puerto Rico. The island became a territory of the United States, and in 1970, Puerto Rican become U.S. citizen. He become United States citizen in the forest that he called their nesting holes. They invaded by creatures. They invaded many creatures at their parents' nest. They swarmed into parrots' nest in 1898. The United States just declared a war in Spain. They declared a war in Spain as much as they possible. The honeybees that had just escaped from hive. The honeybees just try to escape from the hive, but they don't know where is it. But the hives are very cute in the hives that they know about them. They live in their house. And then that they lost control of Puerto Rico. They keep losing controls of it because they know what they're controlling about, but they don't have any idea what they can do. It become a territory of the United States, and in 1970, the island just become a territory of the United States in 1970 because they have an island became a territory of the United States. That means they have a bad territory of what that declared in the United States. In 1970, they were ready to become a U.S. citizen because they have the right to do it and of the USA flag. The USA flag. I go cut the parrots caught as the forest where they made their nests were cut down. The parrots began to disappear from places where they have flown for millions of years. By 1937, there were only about 2,000 Puerto Rican parrots in the Locayo Mountains to the east. A few years later, the parrots were living in just one place, Yunque, the tropical rainforest in those mountains. After Puerto Ricans gained American citizenship, many of them moved to the United States. Those who stayed in rural parts on the island built houses and farms in the areas where parrots had once lived. Many of the parrots' tall oak trees were made into charcoal to use for cooking fire, and people still hunted and trooped the parrot. They trooped the parrot for few years in the parrots that they were living just in one place, and that everywhere just have a parrot in one place as you can see it.
You did a wonderful job.
Game for American citizenship. That more citizenships are in there. That they have only about 2,000 Puerto Rican parrots. They only have 2,000 of the parrots in the Rican. And then just one place you will next a tropical just have a rainforest in those mountains. That the parrots have just one survived. Many of them, the parrots are tall oak trees were just made in charcoal to use for cooking fire. They have to cook the fires in there. And people still hunted and trap the parrots in the forest. Not done.
1 minute.
No more. Stop.
Keep on going.
In the 1950s, birds called pearly-eyed dashers moved into the rainforest and tried to steal the parrot's nesting hole. Like clever thieves, these birds enter places where other birds are struggling to live and compete with them for nest sites. The parrots fought the stragglers, jabbing at them with their sharp beaks and defending their nests with harsh cries. But the parrots now had too many enemies and too few trees. The flock became smaller and smaller. By 1954, there were only 200 parrots left. Puerto Ricans elected their first governors, and the island became a U.S. commonwealth, not a state, not an independent nation, but something in between. The people argue, should their island remain a commonwealth? Should it be a state? Should it be independent of the United States? Everyone had a different idea. But all were proud to say, Kuraka, that I am Puerto Rican, because their law building is the nesting holes in the thrashers that moved into the rainforest, is that there were a lot of birds struggling to live in the compete for ease and defending their nests in there in the smaller. By 1954, there were only 200 parrots left. That they elected Parrot elected their first governors in the United States. U.S. They have a commonwealth in the common. It should be a state. The flock of Puerto Rican parrots became even smaller. By 1967, only 24 parrots lived in Yunque National. The parrots call as they looked for someplace, any place, to find food and nesting holes for their chicks. Puerto Rican looked up and saw that their agolkas were almost gone. People had nearly caused the parrots to become extinct. Now people started to help the parrots to stay alive. In 1968, the governments of the United States and the Commonwealth of Puerto Rico worked together to create the Puerto Rican Parrot Recovery Program. Its goal was to save and protect the parrots. The first part of the plan was to create an aviary, a safe place for parrots to live and raise chicks. This is the place to raise chicks, and that even smaller agolka, they come the place for someplace. A place for food and nesting holes to cause the parrots and stay and save and protect the parrot. They have a safe place to live and raise chicks. Parrots squawk as signs with long handle nets gently lifted eggs and chicks from their nesting holes. The scientists always left at least one egg or chick in each nest, so some birds could continue living in the wild. In 1973, the colony aviary opened in Yunque incubators, and the aviary kept the egg warm. The Puerto Rican parrots raised captivity had no experience as parents, so Australian parrots helped raise the chicks. These parrots come from the nearby island of Helsel. They are like cousins of Puerto Rican parrots, but are not as weird. They're not as weird as the gem lifted eggs. They're nesting holes here. The santa have always left at least one or egg chicks, but there are some birds continue living in the wild that captivity have no experience. So Hespilian, the parrots help raise the chicks. Each parrot just come from the nearby island just for the like cousin of Puerto Rican parrots, but are not as rare. Once hundreds of thousands of Puerto Rican parrots flew over the island. By 1975, only 13 parrots were left in the rainforest. The worried scientists built special nesting boxes and put them in trees and areas where the parrots were likely to nest. The parrots inspected the nesting boxes and then moved, and these nesting boxes were deep and dark like the nesting holes Puerto Rican parrots find in the wild. A bird sitting at the top of the box could not see all the way to the bottom. Purely eye thrashers like to see the bottom of their nest, so the thrashers left the parrots nesting box alone. The 100,000 Puerto Rican parrots flew over the island. This is the force that the island. In 1975, there 13 parrots were left in the rainforest. That the scientists can build special nesting box that the parrots inspected the box when they move, and that the thrashers that nest are alone. Not that finished.
That's it.
Okay, I'm done.
That's a wonderful job. Congratulations.